Hello. This is a video pertaining to the Philadelphia Eagles and their situation on offense. But before I begin, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe to the video. Please smash those like, let me know what you think about this content that I present for you today. All right, here's what I come to realize. I mean, we can do all the rants we want to about this style of offense that the Eagles are running. We all know it's a vanilla style offense mostly high school and college football teams play. Nothing that the pros play at any form of fashion. But here's what I come to realize, and here's what needs to be done before the game against the Chargers. I'm not going to say fire Kevin Patullo, but I will say demote him because the Eagles are currently at 8-4, should be 9-1, or 9-2 for that matter. Or better yet, not 9-2. They were 12 games been played. The Eagles should be 10-2. 10-2. The two losses are probably the Broncos, and the one probably against the Chicago Bears. I give them those two losses right there. But the Cowboys game and the game against let me see, who did we lose to? We lost to the Broncos, the Bears, Cowboys, and what's the other team? We lost 4 games. I forgot who the fourth team was, but I do know two of those games we should have lost to, and the other 2 games should be added to our win total, which should be, I give them, let's say 10-2. That's what I say, and it should be top of the division, but we're not. You know why we're not? Well, we're still top of the division, but we're not the number 1 seed in the playoff. We currently stands at 3. And so here's what I feel the Eagles need to do. First of all, it's too late to change that style of offense because they've been playing offense all season, even doing it before the bye week. What they need to do is to demote him, like I mentioned, and bring in a guy if you choose to, or promote some guys from within that can simplify this style of offense. What I mean is, this style of offense could be ran to another format. What I mean is, when we had I forgot the boy name is Kellen Moore in. When we had Kellen Moore, he simplified the offense. And what he did, he put Hurts on the center a little bit more, and he had him center, and he had him in shotgun formation. But when he had him in those 2 formation forms, the Eagles were able to add motion. Which means they were motion a running back, or they were motion a receiver, or a tight end. This whole season, we have not did no form of motion. The only thing they did was put Hurts on the center more. And the center formation is great. But the thing is, coming out of center, and if you still run that type of offense on the center, and there's no motion going behind or in front of the quarterback, team still gonna know what you're doing, because you only running those 5 or 6 what is it 6-yard 5 or 6-yard hitch routes. Cornerbacks and safeties and linebackers can sit right there in that zone coverage and pick the ball off, or knock it out of the receiver's hand, or out of tight end, depending who got the ball. They can tackle for your loss, or they can make sure that you don't get the first down. Now, these 5 hitch routes, I'm really tired of seeing, because then there's no motion in the 5 hitch routes. Now, there'd be a difference if they add motion in the 5-yard hitch routes. Then the receiver can actually get the ball for 5 or more yards. But when you have no motion and you run that same predictable offense moving forward, teams will know exactly what you're doing, especially on defense. The Cowboys knew. C.J. Gardner knew. And this is a guy who's been with the Eagles 2 out of the last 7 years in the league. This guy going to 7th year, and he been with 3 teams in the 7th season. 3 teams, and those 2 teams he been to Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, because he helped the Eagles get there because of his toughness, his will to play, and he's not afraid to hit. He's not afraid to yap it out with opposing offenses. Think about what he did with Tom Brady. When Tom Brady was playing the New Orleans Saints, the man knocked the ball out of the receiver's hand and got right in the face of Tom Brady. Now that type of leadership the Eagles need. But we had it, then we lost it, and you see what it happened in the previous year, 23. The guy we had and let him go the following year before 23 got here. So with CJ Gunn now with the Chicago Bears, he made the Chicago Bears defense vulnerable because you know why? Because he's not afraid of getting in your face. He will tell you like it is, and he did it when they beat the Eagles. If you guys seen that big now show starring what was his name? Shady McCoy and the other, I forget the boy, and the linebacker. If you watch that show, when the Eagles lost their game against Chicago, they had C.J. Gardner-Johnson in his locker room in Philadelphia, and they asked him, was the offense predictable? And he gave a, you know what I'm saying? They let you know right there, even though he didn't say yes or didn't say no, but the facial expression when he did gives you an idea of what we are. I can't be mad at the man. I can't. I'm not gonna get mad at C.J. Gunn because C.J. Gunn is one of my favorite players of the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's been a long time that I actually can say anything about C.J. Gardner-Johnson because C.J. Gardner-Johnson was the shit. He was the shit. He was the team. He was the player. He's the one that held this entire defense in accountability mode. The Eagles have no accountability, none whatsoever. And none of these players that are so-called captains are holding their teammates in accountability for their flaws and for their actions on offense and defense. No accountability. The Eagles messed up when they let him go to the Houston Texans. Then they got bounced around the league, and he was on somebody's practice squad, and Chicago picked him off the practice squad. And now look at the Chicago Bears defense. And Jack, we can say it ain't a damn thing we can say about the Chicago Bears in the way they play, because we can't hate on them. We can't hate on them because what the Cowboys did to us the previous week, they did to us last week. This past Friday, Black Friday. And the Eagles have never lost. I mean, Eagles have lost one game when they played in the black jerseys, and that was back in '97. The Eagles played the 49ers. I'll never forget it. When the Eagles played the 49ers destroyed the field of the Eagles in them black jerseys. Matter of fact, that's the first year they had the black jerseys, and then ever since then, the Eagles been winning games with the black jerseys. Now we got a second loss in the black jerseys, not to mention Kelly Green. So this, and I mean, let me say this also. C.J. Gunner also said when you played the black jerseys, you played with the intention of being bold. I mean, cause everybody know black is a bold color. It's a deep black, dark color that's within the soul and within the heart. That means that you come out with the intention to hurt somebody when you wear black. But in this case, the black did not work against us. I mean, it worked against us this time around for the second time in over 20 or 30 some years. The Eagles have lost in the black jerseys. I'm gonna say this here. I'm gonna end the video because I got some tired talking. I got to say this because, so like I said, it's not a rant. It's just my opinion. You can go with it or you don't. Do I feel confident in this team? I'm 50-50 on that because here's why. You brought in free agents on defense to replace the ones you lost. Milton, Sweat, and you can say Slay, and then you add C.J. Gardner-Johnson to that mix. Those four guys were your captains from the Super Bowl year. Milton was a captain. Sweat was a captain, Slade was a captain, and C.J. Gunn was a captain on defense. Those were your four captains on defense last year, and they held everybody on defense accountable. Now you got captains on this team that don't know how to be captains because they don't have the leadership of the 4 guys that I just mentioned. On offense, you had who was it? AJ Brown. You had Hurts. You had Lane Johnson. You had Jurgens, and you had Mailata. Those were your 5 captains. I'm sorry, 8 captains. You only can pick 8 captains. You only can pick 8 captains. I'm sorry. 4 on defense, 4 on offense. I want to say it was Lane, AJ, Mailata, and Hurts. That's what I want to say. That's what I want to say. I think I'm right on that. But anyway, like I said, these captains on both sides of the ball is not holding their teammates accountable. That's why you got these interceptions. That's why you got these fumbles as of late. That's why you can't complete 3rd downs. And that's why you can't do the tush push like you used to. Which, by the way, I'm going to speak on the tush push in a few minutes. But this is something that needs to be corrected. And for as Patullo goes, he needs to be demoted. And they need to hire somebody from within to be the offensive coordinator that can supervise the style of offense that they're running. Because like I mentioned earlier in this video, the offense we got now, it's to change. You can't change it now, too late. Only thing you can do is simplify, which means add some motion to not predict the defense, to predict the ability of our offense. That's what needs to happen, because if we keep playing this kind of offense, teams are going to pick us apart by rushing the pass, by rushing the quarterback, or contain the run. And when the containment of the run started in the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs put 7 down linemen. I'm sorry, 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers at the line of scrimmage to stop him from running the football. And that's been carrying on this entire season. So you would think that they would change that formality. Look at that game very closely and say, okay, this is what teams are going to do with us going into the new year. You would think that they would have thought that quite clearly, but apparently not, because in the last few games, Saquon only had 2 100-yard rushing games this entire season alone. The other games have been 40, 50, luckily 60 yards. He only had 188. He only had 180 some yards rushing, and that was to get Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the only team. It's the only time he only had over 100 yards, over 80 some yards or more with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the only team. And now he has like 600 yards rushing. He's on pace to have 1,000 yards, but the way it's looking, he'd be lucky if he gets 900 yards rushing this season. He'd be lucky. And so, and Smitty is having a breakout year, but teams have caught on to that now. They're now shifting their weight towards Smitty and leaving AJ open. So that's why AJ Brown had 100 yards receiving in a game against the Bears, because teams has put their suffocation defense on Smitty. Smitty only had for 40 yards rushing. I think on 4 or 5 touches, I believe. He had less than 80 yards receiving. Because teams are shifting their weight toward him. And then to get the Cowboys game, he only had 1 catch. So that should let you know right there that teams are pushing their defensive philosophies towards Smitty. But yet you still didn't get the run game off. I don't exactly know what they're planning to do. I don't know, because I'm not on defense, not on offense, and I'm not a coach, so I can't say what they're doing. But I can say what they need to do, and I spoke my piece on that. Now to the tush push. That needs to stop. Tush push, it's done. It's done. Teams have now figured out a way to stop tush push, and that's by knocking the ball out of his hands or grabbing at the ball. If you got to remember, the New York Giants, the first game they played, knocked the ball out of Hurts' hands. And we all know that should have been a fumble. Even I say that. That should have been a fumble. But for some odd reason, the referee ruled it as an incomplete play. But that should have been ruled a fumble. Now you can play, y'all hate me all you want to. I don't care. But if you're true to the heart, you know I'm telling the truth about that. That should have been a fumble. If not for the referee, the Eagles would not have won that football game against New York Giants in the second. They did it in the second game, not the first game. In the second game, so that should have been a loss. But it's not. But it wasn't. Referee, for some odd reason, didn't even see the play, so they called it an incomplete play. They called it dead. It was ruled dead or incomplete play. I'm not actually sure what it was, but it was 4th and 1 when the play was complete, and so but it was ruled incomplete or dead ball, whatever it was. But anyway, since New York Giants were the first to do that, other teams have now replicated that style of stopping the tush push. So that the Eagles need to figure out some way to use the tush push in a different form. What I mean is, they did it once against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got to remember, they've gone for a tush push, and for some odd reason, Hurts backed out of the tush push and threw the ball to Saquon. Saquon ran the ball for like 10 yards, whatever it was, to the end zone for the score. That's how you use the tush push in different formats. Instead of that push up the middle all the time, teams have now stopped that. That's over. You either start doing formation. You either start doing new formations from the tush push, or they kill the whole play once and for all and find something else to do. Because basically, I'm tired of seeing the tush push style. Because like I said, teams have now caught on. And I'm with a lot of the Eagle fans. So some of the Eagle fans love the tush push. At one point, I loved it, but I don't hate it because of people thinking that it can cause injury. I hate it because teams have not figured out to stop it. You know what I'm saying? So that is what I see, and that is what I know. And like I said, from what I've seen this whole entire season, I mean, you got a stalemate offense. The tush push is no longer a threat to get the first down no more, because teams have found ways to stop it now. You got a defense that it was at one point playing lights out, but now the defense can't do much because the offense is not producing on third down plays. The Eagles like 20, 25, 20. They Eagles are between 25 and 30 ranked on third downs, and that is a problem because when you can't convert third downs, you force your defense to go back on the field. After they already got you the ball back the first or second or third time around, you keep striking out on third downs, and that is an issue with this Eagles defense, Eagles offense. And so if the defense gets on the field more than the offense, see, the offense is supposed to produce 9, 10, up to 15 plays going down the field. And you just supposed to at least try to complete every third down efficiency. Now, it'd be different if you get down to the red zone and teams stop you on the third down. Different story, because then you kick the ball and the defense have gotten their rest. That's a different story. But you always want to convert third downs to actually get the next play from the offensive coordinator, so the play can be put in place to the quarterback, where the quarterback can give the play to the offensive line and to the wide receivers and running back, so they know exactly what play to run. And then at the same time, once the play is called from the offensive coordinator, the center have to match the same play, because the offensive line have a different signal. Their signals are very different from the play call from the offensive coordinator. But the center plays has to match the call of the offensive coordinator for them to either run or pass. One of the two. It has to match. Because if it doesn't match, you're going the opposing defensive line is going to give you issues if the play does not match the play that's being called by the offensive coordinator. Everybody knows that. And I've been an Eagles fan for over 45 years, and I'm proud to see my team win a Super Bowl, 2 to be exact. But when you go back-to-back years of a stalemate offense because of the offense coordinator that called the plays at one point and gone, like Kevin Moore and Shane Steichen, when those two guys are your most experienced offensive coordinators and they go to other teams and producing, that's it. For example, the Eagles are 1-1 in that formality. Kellen Moore is having a subpar year with the Saints, but at some point, the Saints are going to be a better team down the road. Shane Steichen is in his 3rd year with the Indianapolis Colts, and the Colts are playing good football right now. Offense, defense, special teams. They're playing real good. And look at what he did with Danny Dimes, aka the New York Giants former 1st-round pick quarterback. That guy's playing out of his mind right now, because you know why? He has a run game. Jonathan Taylor is on pace to win the rushing title. He's on pace. He's on pace for at least 17 or 1,800 yards rushing this year. He's on pace for that. He's about to win the rushing title, and that same offense that we used to run in Philadelphia, he's running at the Colts. So I just don't understand why Nick Sirianni has issues of bringing in of hiring inexperienced coordinators. And you would think he would have learned from the first one, but he didn't. What the Eagles should have did was try to pay Kellen Moore a little bit more money. They should give him the money. They should, because I'm quite sure he won like $3 or $4 million for a year. They should give that man that money, because he's making about $6-7 million with the Saints. $4 or $5 million with the Eagles as offensive coordinator would have been kind of like a million or more less than what the Saints are paying him now. But I'm willing to bet he would took that money and take to Philadelphia. I think if he stayed with the Eagles right now, ain't no way in the world the Eagles will be at where they at now. At now, Eagles will probably be 11-1 or maybe 10-2 right about now if Kellen Moore had still stayed here to call plays on his offense. So now after this season, what's gonna be the problem? Are they gonna find another experienced coordinator, offensive coordinator, or are they gonna promote him within again? And I have an odd feeling if he does that again and go through the same bracket that we're going through right now, he gonna be out as coach. And the Eagles could fire him this year if the Eagles fail to meet the playoffs. If we don't even be a fourth, if the Eagles don't be a 4th seed by the end of this year and win the NFC East, I have an odd feeling it could be a change in the head coaches, and it could be changing probably in the offensive coordinator players as well. The whole offensive staff might get replaced except for Stoutland. Stoutland may be the only one that may stay, because Stoutland making more money as offensive line passing game coordinator than he was when he was in recent past. So he ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And so that is the issue that I have right now. Like I said, I'm not ranting. I'm just speaking hypothetically of what needs to be done to this team, because I'm really getting tired of seeing it play. I'm tired of seeing it, and it's wearing on me. And just to let you guys know, the game against Chicago, I didn't watch. I didn't watch that game because I was with my mom on Black Friday. I was visiting time with my mom, so that's why I didn't watch that game. The game against the Cowboys, I didn't watch because I didn't want to watch it, because I knew this offense would be detriment to this defense. That's why I didn't watch those games, because it was so. To watch the highlights of those two games just lets me know where this team is as a whole, because you got injured players on offense and the end out lineup. I mentioned it. I mentioned it in the video, in another video before. The Eagles have a patchwork offensive line. The only mainstay on their offensive line so far have been Mailata and Dickerson. But Dickerson been in and out, but he's more healthier now than he was early in the year. And Mailata is having a horrible season because he let him pass rushers getting past him. So that lets you know right there on that left side of the field, you can't run the football because Landon Dickerson and Mailata are bulldozers when it comes to running that side of the field. If you guys pay any attention against Saquon and the way he's been running the ball this year, he's been running the ball up the middle. He ain't been running left and running right. Because you know why? Because when you have your main offensive lineman like Big Lane Johnson, when he ain't on that side of the field, you can't run that side because teams are going to contain you on that side. You can't run left because you got players on the right side, on the left side of the football field or of the offensive line cannot block correctly. So you can't even run because if you run that way, you're going to get tackled for loss. So where else can you run? Up the middle. And teams are knowing it, so that's why they're clocking up the middle of the field. That's why they're clocking up that side of the field, because both the A gap and the B gap. That's why they're clocking up those two gaps because the center can only block one or two plays. He can't block two. He only can block one. And then in the right guard, it's been patchwork at best. You know what I'm saying? And I hate they let that guy Keegan go. Keegan was I think a 4th or 5th round pick out of University of Michigan. They let that guy go. And you know where he wound up at? The Dallas Cowboys. That guy probably could have played the left side of that field if Landon Dickerson wasn't up to par. So Howie Roseman the man's a genius, don't get me wrong. He good at some draft picks, but he bad at letting certain players that need to stay go. He been bad at that. And Keegan was like I said, a 4th, 5th round pick. He probably could have played that left side of the field. And I think if they did, Saquon Barkley would probably have better statistics running on the left than he would on the right. And then when defenses clock up the left, then you got the middle of the field to run through. Simple terminology. So they let you know right there that Portillo is not doing a good job calling play because he's supposed to call the play based off his personnel. He can't do it. Kellen Moore has been the only guy that has been able to capitalize off the personnel we have here. He did with the Dallas Cowboys, and he did it with the Chargers. Everywhere Kellen Moore has went, he has been able to use the personnel he has in front of him to get the plays called for the right play to be played and be called and be played out. Simple terminology. Now you got this guy Portillo who cannot capitalize off the players that he has. To me, I feel if you got a patchwork offensive line, you need to find out where their weaknesses are and capitalize on their weaknesses. This Eagles team is actually really built to run the football. But when you got your main players that come in out of because of injuries, you're supposed to be able to pass the ball, which means get your offensive line in pass protection mode where either Saquon can run the football or catch it out of the backfield, or Hurts can scan the football field and know where to go with the football without looking left, know there's a player open on the right. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody open in the middle of the field. Or better yet, it should be plays called where you can have the option of 2 players open that can complete the ball. Now, we all know A.J. Brown can get open. He said all the time, he said when he covers, he's open. And that's the likely scenario. The same could be said for Goddard. Goddard mans the middle of the field more than any tight end that I've seen in recent history. He knows to catch the ball over the middle, running it for first downs. That's his formality. But when you can't see the field and your offensive line is patchwork, you're not exactly sure where to go with the football. Because like I said, you got, when you run those 5-yard hitches, which could be better if you run it off motion. Then you complete your ball, your 5-yard passes, and he can get 4 or 5 more yards for either to get close to the first down mark or to get the first down, or more yards following. And when you complete passing deep balls like that, team gonna back off. And when they back off defensively, then you can run the ball however you may. The team the Eagles have played this year have been able to do just that. That's why we 8-4. I really don't know exactly much more I could say. All I know is that it's simple terminology offensively. And like I said, if you can't complete balls downfield and you're constantly going out 3 and out like that, you're putting your defense in bad position to make plays that they don't made over and 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 over again, to a point where they cannot make tackles. They can't knock balls out. They can't intercept the ball. None of those things can be done defensively if your offense is constantly going 3 and out every time. And I'm tired of seeing it. It's sad, pathetic, it's strange, and it's weird, because I'm not gonna say the city of Philadelphia or a fan base are spoiled. I'm not saying we're spoiled. Nothing at all. I'm only saying that this needs to be replicated. Something needs to change, because if it doesn't, the Eagles would lose their remaining 6 games, and that's gonna cause an issue with the fan base and the organization. Nothing more I can say. This is your boy, the Almighty Green Town. Hope you guys understand where I'm going and coming from. Peace out. One love.